No Shreyas Iyer in India's squad for the last three tests against England. That's the big takeaway after the selectors announced what is a 17-man squad for the three remaining tests. The series is 1-1. Virat Kohli continues to remain unavailable for personal reasons, while KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja, they feature in the squad, but their availability for the third test will be subject to medical clearance. There is also a maiden test call-up for seamer Akashdeep, who comes from Bengal and has impressed in the series against England Lions. He replaces Avesh Khan from the squad that had taken part in the first two tests. Sanjay Manjrekar with us to dissect this squad. Sanjay, we have to start from the big headline. No room for Shreyas Iyer. A string of low scores, not just in this series, but for the last year or so. And he finds himself out of the reckoning.
Yes, and not just the home series, the couple of test matches where he had low scores. He had a great opportunity, I thought, in the last innings where Shubman Gill was able to cash in, and also scores before that in South Africa. So what you've seen with this team management and the new selection committee, they give a fair run to players, and it's not just this home series, but recent performances of Shreyas Iyer in Test cricket that's got him to lose his place in the squad.
What would be the roadmap if you are speaking to Shreyas Iyer right now, having had a turbulent year in Test cricket? What's the best advice you'd give?
It's tough for these young players, young batters in today's, the cricketing landscape that we have, where they have to be good in three formats. So T20s, 50 overs, he seems pretty good. He had a very good World Cup as well. And while you're working, on the skills required for T20s and 50 overs, whether you like it or not, and it's unavoidable, you are actually diminishing your test match skills. So your improvement in wide ball cricket batting especially comes at the cost of your test match batting, which is mostly about leaving balls outside the off stump and playing close to the bat. Two things that you would never want to do in T20. So he has to decide, which are the format that he's going to try and excel in. And test match continues to be his priority, number one priority, or one of the main priorities. Then he's just got to work on his defensive game, whether it's pace and bounce or whether it's spin. Just develop a game where he's confident in defense, and then when he takes the aggressive route, it's like an extension of his defensive play where he's trying to dominate and not try and escape pressure or release pressure by playing the counter attacking game.
The selection is also a vote of confidence for someone like a Rajat Patidar, who debuted in Vizag, and even a Sarfaraz Khan, who retains his spot in the squad. Also a measure of the selectors giving domestic performances their due.
And that's how it should be. Very often we see happening at the Indian cricket level, and it's happened during our times as well. Because the captain is familiar with the people that he's seen with him, they rarely are very keen to go back to players who they haven't quite seen. And that applies to the coaches as well. So it's the job of the selectors to convince the captain and the coach of any Indian team over the years that there are these great options that we have at the first class level. Normally, captains and coaches tend to stick with the guys that they've seen properly. But that is the job of the selectors, and that is the reason that why we have such an exhaustive domestic program, Ranji Trophy cricket. And if we don't reward those people, the highest run getters, going through the grind when there are 4 people watching, but just putting your head down for two days and getting big hundreds, if they aren't rewarded, might as well not have any Ranji Trophy cricket. So this is great, where Patidar, it seems, has been backed, firstly because of his first-class performances, and there was some spark that he showed in the first innings of the last test, and Sarfaraz Khan, certainly so, because this is a guy who is not anywhere close to India's plans when it comes to wide ball cricket.
Yeah, so Patidar and Sarfaraz getting the nod ahead of Shreyas Iyer, and you could say also ahead of someone like a Cheteshwar Pujara, who has been making the runs in Ranji Trophy himself. The big question as far as who ends up playing will obviously hinge on those two asterisks in the squad, because if KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja are fit, you'd imagine they slot in. Who would they slot in for you?
I think KL Rahul definitely comes in for a batter. I have no idea how the team management and the selectors are thinking about the keeper. And I mentioned this before as well, before Rishabh Pant comes and takes his rightful place in that test squad. I would like to have a look at some of the other options that India have. I've also suggested earlier use KL Rahul, the keeper, because I don't think what you've seen of KS Bharat, he's not a Riddhiman Saha, where you're compromising a lot when you're going for KL Rahul as a keeper, as opposed to KS Bharat, or try a new, player who's there in the squad, Ruj Jurel, who has some batting ability. And this is a great time where, if you look at the squad with Akshar Patel there, there's plenty of batting depth where the keeper will not feel the pressure of delivering as a batter. And it's maybe not such a bad time to try out another keeping option. It's not like it's a game-changing selection that you drop KS Bharat and you have taken a huge gamble or you have taken a big decision.
The trickier hypothetical, of course, Sanjay, is if Ravindra Jadeja is fit. Who goes out then? Would you look at Akshar Patel or Kuldeep Yadav, who had such an impressive return to Test cricket? Or do India let go of the second seamer who hasn't had much to do so far in this series?
If Mohammad Siraj wasn't available as your second seaming option, then maybe it would have been easier for India to stick with four spinners and go the English way, like they have committed to just one pace bowler. But because Mohammad Siraj is available, and we've seen this ball that we have in the series do something for the seam bowlers. You see reverse swing, which is creating some opportunities for the fielding side, and just the way England have played the finger spinners. India might stick to two seam bowlers, and I see one finger spinner making way, which means Akshar Patel, because I don't see Kuldeep Yadav being left out if they have to leave out one spinner with Jadeja available, purely because of Kuldeep's impact in the last test match, plus a more difficult bowler to reverse sweep and all those kinds of assortment of sweeps that we have.
Right. And Siraj's presence also obviously helps manage Jasprit Bumrah's workload, which has been the subject of some speculation in the gap between these tests. We leave it at that, Sanjay. We look forward to your company closer to the start of the Rajkot test. The series is locked at 1-1. We are anticipating a riveting finish to what has been a promising series so far.